Welcome back to another video, and as you can see we have the 440 right in front of me, and as you can see by the title, we're going to be doing a single exhaust setup on this car. This is something that I've been wanting to do for almost 2 years now. If you guys go back and look at some of my old videos, there was a 340 that I ended up recording while I was out in California. I'm not going to get into the details of like what happened with that setup. Honestly, I don't even know myself. So I'm just going to make my own. I finally decided to just go ahead and complete my own setup. And I'm going to be doing that with the help of Arm Motorsports. So big shout out to them for being part of the entire project. This is something that I'm excited to see and hear. We are going to be installing their 6-inch downpipe, which is the biggest downpipe that you can actually get for these cars. I think the most common one is like 4.5, so this is 6 inches. And I think it does change the tone of the car. They have a video on their website where you can tell they have a comparison between their 4.5 to their 6 inch. And with the 6 inch, it sounds a little bit more throaty. I guess you can say kind of a little bit more like the N55 does. I am going to be showing you guys a comparison between the two setups. I do have audio clips already of the setup that I have on the car now, and then I'll be getting some once I finish the install. So I'm skipping the whole installation process just because there's already videos of downpipe installs and exhaust installs. So I'm gonna go ahead and get to work, get everything removed, and then that way hopefully we can get installed in a short amount of time. It shouldn't be too bad. Hopefully we don't run into issues, but with cars you guys never know. So fingers crossed that everything goes smoothly. Quick little update for you guys. As you can see, the car is finally up in the air. I had to fight the stupid clamp on the downpipe. So if you guys know the 340s and the 440s, apparently it's an issue that I didn't even know existed up until I experienced it myself. So the uh the nut that holds the bolt that holds it in place when you tighten it up tends to, I guess, lose its shape, and it kind of, I guess, the corners end up being rounded a little bit, which once you start loosening it up, trying to loosen it up, all it does is just spin in place, so you're never able to get the clamp loose. So the only thing that I've noticed is that people have cut the bolt or cut the clamp. I had to cut the clamp. There was just no way for me to get to the bolt. So I ended up cutting it off, and I finally got it off. Like, I spent a couple hours trying to figure out what the issue was last night. And I finally decided to look into it, and sure enough, it's a common thing with these cars. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and start removing the muffler, and the muffler delete, the mid pipe, and then hopefully the downpipe comes out smoothly. So I'll catch you guys in just a second. Another update: downpipe, muffler, mid pipe finally off the car. Let me tell you, getting this off of that was a B. You guys know the rest. So it took me a little while, but finally everything's off the car. Now I can finally go ahead and start with the downpipe. Hopefully, hopefully at this point everything goes smooth. It's just a matter of lining things up and getting everything center how it should be. But the good thing is, obviously, the exhaust comes in pieces, so it just makes it easier to bolt up. But I don't want to jinx myself because I already jinxed myself at the beginning saying that this should be an easy job. And to be honest, it is. It's not that bad. But for one, doing it on the floor, it's if you have access to a lift, way easier. You'll be able to knock it out a lot faster. But being on your back and not being able to raise the car up too high, it's a pain in the ass, to be honest. So it's possible. Definitely recommend trying to have access to a lift if you can. It'll make your life a lot easier. And then hopefully you guys don't have the same issue with the V clamp. But if you do, cut it off. That's what I ended up doing. I ended up cutting into the side of the V band, because this is the bolt that just kept spinning and spinning and spinning every time that I was trying to loosen this bolt to get the clamp to open up. It just wasn't working. It's supposed to be locked in place, actually. Let me show you this one. So here we have the new one. Much better. And you see this, it doesn't move. That's how this one's supposed to be. So to be honest, I think these are like a one-time use. So since this one was already replaced, like, I'm pretty sure this is the OEM clamp that came with the car. So if anything, if you guys are going to be doing it, just go ahead and get yourself a new one. It'll make your life easier if you ever have to remove the callus downpipe. So get you a new clamp and a new gasket for your downpipe, and you'll be good to go. You won't have to go through these struggles that I did, but this is a very common issue. So a lot of people end up cutting the bolts or the clamp. So the downpipe is on, and looking at it from here, it actually looks like a catted downpipe. So if you guys are worried about emission purposes, this one would be the one. It looks like you have a cat in there. I have the O2 sensors on there, and then I just slid the downpipe in there. Since it is a little bit wider, it was a little bit not too complicated, but it took a little bit of finessing to get it in there. And I was able to get it in there just fine. Obviously, just take your time and just kind of work around it. The moment that you line up the bracket with the frame of the car or transmission, wherever it's bolted up to, it'll line up almost perfect to the housing. So once you get it in there, easy to get it tightened up and put back together. So now the fun part, I can go ahead and start completing the exhaust. Hopefully this doesn't take me too long to line things up. So, but we're past the halfway mark, I believe. So luckily this shouldn't take too much longer. All right, y'all. So here's the final setup. I do apologize for the shitty angle, but this is the best that I can do. So we have the downpipe that's down there where you see me pointing at. Obviously you can't see it, but I'll show you guys from the top in just a second. So it goes down to the mid pipe. Then we have the mid pipe is actually divided into two sections, which makes it a lot easier. So you have this little part, and then we have the section that goes down to the muffler delete. So this goes around the frame, subframe, and then it bolts up to the factory location, which is right here. We only need one hanger, obviously, and then it just comes straight out to your bumper. So this part did take a little bit of finessing to get it on there. It was a tight fit, but just take your time and play around with it. Don't tighten up any of the clamps up until you're done. The only one that I tightened up earlier was the one up there by the downpipe, but other than that, I mean, I left this one loose, and then obviously this one, and then once I had everything bolted up over here, I went back and tightened up these two clamps, which is right there, and this one right here. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put the car down. I'm gonna continue the video tomorrow, get some sound clips for you guys to show the comparisons, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. I did drive the car around already, so I know how the car sounds like, and let me tell you, I think the downpipe played the biggest factor, but the entire setup just sounds really good, and you can't really go wrong for the price point and the fact that obviously if you want something rowdy and loud, this would be the go-to. So let me just get out from underneath the car, get everything situated, and we'll continue the video tomorrow. Alright guys, so before I end up jumping to the last part of the video, I just want to give you my honest opinion on the entire setup. And I have to say, for the price, I feel like this is one of the best setups that you can go with. The downpipe definitely changed the tone of the car, possibly the mid pipe too. So I would just recommend doing the downpipe and the mid pipe at least. And then if you don't want it to be too loud, I would just run your own muffler to the setup. But the only drawback that I will say, and this is me being honest, just because I don't want you guys to think that I'm hyping up the setup just because it was sponsored, but this is an issue that other people have had, and that's with the pipe touching the diffuser. And long story short, you'll end up melting it a little bit. I have like a little indentation here going on the diffuser now because of the pipe is a little too close to it, and I think sometimes it ends up touching it. I don't know, or maybe it's just the heat overall that's causing it to melt. Also, I do have a flame tune, so I don't know if that kind of sped up the process, but I saw other people have the same issue, and the only fix that I can think of to this is to have somebody cut the bracket where it bolts up to the car and extend it a little bit lower, that way so it doesn't touch, you know, the diffuser. I don't, if you have a carbon one, I'm not sure if that's gonna happen, if you're gonna end up having the same issue or not, if it's gonna melt. But that's just my take on it. Other than that, I mean, at the end of the day, you're not gonna be able to tell the difference because nobody's really gonna be looking that far. But yeah, hopefully you guys are able to pick up the differences in the videos, and let me know what you guys think of the entire setup. Single exit, is it your choice? It's probably not a choice for everybody, but it's something different. Obviously, something that you don't really see a lot. I'm going to be making a custom plate to cover up that hole. Hopefully it turns out okay, but the good thing is that it's black and it's plastic, so I should be able to make something happen. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Drop a comment down below and enjoy the rest of the video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.